Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're actually diving into the personal diary of a man who's navigating life after a stem cell transplant. And what it reveals is this incredible raw battle between hope and fear when you just don't know what's coming next.
So where does the story start? Well, it starts with something so simple, planning a trip. For most of us, booking something 3 weeks out is nothing, right? But for him, after months of just trying to get through the day, this is huge. It's a monumental leap back toward feeling normal again.
But that little bit of hope, it's incredibly fragile because he's immediately caught in this massive internal tug of war. On one side, you have the doctors, the charts, all the heart data saying, hey, you're doing great. But on the other side, you have the stories, the deeply human and, let's be honest, absolutely terrifying stories he's hearing from other patients in the waiting room.
And that right there, that sets the stage for his entire journey. It's this constant push and pull between two powerful, competing realities. And we're about to see how he even begins to navigate that kind of impossible tension.
Okay, so let's look at the numbers side of things first. The official statistics, they give a really clear, logical reason to be optimistic. A transplant significantly boosts the odds of survival. We're talking from 30% to over 50%. That's a powerful argument for hope.
But then there's this. He writes that the stories he's hearing from fellow patients, almost all of whom have relapsed, paint a completely different picture. And these personal accounts, these human stories, are so powerful they just completely overwhelm the cold, hard data, making hope feel, almost non-existent.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a second. Let's move away from the feelings and the anecdotes and just look at the physical side of his journey. How is his body actually doing? This is about the tangible, measurable results, the body's own report card. And man, his October calendar is it's a marathon of appointments. Each one is another hurdle to clear, and another source of both crucial information and, of course, nail-biting anxiety. A visit for his eyes, 2 separate tests for his heart, another for his lungs, and then the big one, the comprehensive blood work.
So, what did the test show? Well, the results are overwhelmingly positive. His heart is functioning normally, his lung capacity is literally described as excellent. There's one minor issue with his aorta, but it's stable and just needs monitoring. Basically, his body is passing all the tests with flying colors.
And that blood work, it was fantastic. His hemoglobin, which is a really key indicator of health, came in at a strong 14.8. His white blood cells and platelets are also on the rise. All really, really good signs according to his doctors.
And this is a huge step forward, a major milestone in his recovery. His doctor takes him off cyclosporine. Now, that's the powerful drug that was preventing his body from rejecting the transplant. So taking him off it means the doctors are essentially saying, okay, we trust this new immune system. It's ready to function entirely on its own.
But even as his body is healing and hitting these major milestones, his mind is still stuck in a waiting room of its own. It's a space that's just filled with anxieties that all the good data in the world can't seem to erase.
And this leads to this persistent, nagging feeling of living on borrowed time. Despite all the positive medical reports, he just can't shake this surreal sense that a relapse isn't a matter of if, but when.
And this anxiety isn't just some vague feeling. It's a whole collection of very specific fears. He's afraid of getting an infection in a crowded room. He feels really vulnerable without a mask. He's haunted by the mystery of what even causes leukemia in the first place. And then he gets this devastating news. He learns that he is now the only person he knows in his situation who hasn't relapsed.
So in the midst of this really intense emotional struggle, he does something kind of on a whim. He orders a DNA test kit. And this casual decision leads to a fascinating scientific revelation, one that fundamentally changes how he understands his own body.
He asks a pretty simple question that ends up uncovering a profound truth about his own biology. Think about it. If your body's entire system for creating blood gets replaced, what does that do to your genetic code?
And he learns that he is now what's known in biology as a chimera. That's a single person carrying 2 different genetically distinct sets of cells. It is an absolutely incredible concept.
And the result is just mind-blowing. His original DNA, it still makes up most of his body, his skin, his organs, but his entire blood and immune system, his body's entire defense force, is now built from his donor's genetic code. 2 different blueprints, 1 body. And it gets even more interesting. He finds out his donor wasn't a perfect 12 out of 12 match, but an 11 out of 12. Now, this slight mismatch is a total double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can increase some risks, but on the other, it can make the new immune system more aggressive in hunting down any lingering leukemia. His analogy for it is perfect. It's like a team of 12 cops, where one is a bit of a renegade. More risky maybe, but potentially way more effective at getting the job done.
So, how do you live with this new body, this new knowledge, and this constant gnawing uncertainty? For him, the answer was, you hit the road.
He embarks on a solo vacation, which is just this powerful act of reclaiming his independence and his life. Look at the numbers here. 5 days on the road, 720 kilometers driven, 47 kilometers walked. This wasn't just a trip, it was a declaration of freedom.
And in his own words, the trip was beautiful. After so many months of being trapped by his illness and recovery, he simply felt free again. And the trip was a victory. Not because the anxiety disappeared, but because he chose to live fully right alongside it. And this really gets to the ultimate takeaway here. Recovery isn't an endpoint you reach. It's a continuous, dynamic act of balancing risk and reward, of weighing the caution his condition demands against the freedom his spirit craves. And his journey leaves us with this really powerful question. It's something he has to grapple with every single day, for sure. But it's a question that applies not just to medical recovery, but to the very nature of life itself. How do any of us build a future that we hope for, but can never truly guarantee?